We're talking Fatal Attraction, as in attractions we love that Disney killed. Plus, this week's hot takes, let's bring back the magic.
Bring back the magic for all to see. Together we'll discover all the joy and glow. In every story, there's a little bit of gold. Join our podcast adventure, let the magic unfold.
Oh, yeah. Welcome back to another episode of Bring Back the Magic podcast. This episode is brought to you by Theme Park Chuckle, our web store. Of course, why not? It's ours. We can promote it. It's perfectly okay. Why don't you go on there and grab yourself a cool Disney-based t-shirt or two and support the podcast. But you don't have to. We love you anyway. I am one of your hosts. I'm Josh.
And I am his sister Gina. And for those of you just joining us, welcome aboard. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. That's key, guys, so you don't miss a minute of the magic. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, where we are also available, please give us a follow. And as always, guys, we love to hear your comments. We love to hear your feedback. We'd love to know what you think of what we're doing over here.
Yeah, and since I'll remember this time, this is rated TV 14. So keep it clean for TV 14 and join Team TV 14.
Correct.
So
I love how that's
guys.
one of our guests, always one of their first questions when we do a brunch back the magic is, do you guys curse on here? I'm like, first of all, thanks for being a fan.
We're clean people.
Thanks for being a fan and listening.
Yeah. You're like, do you curse? Well, thanks for watching anything.
Yes, no. But secondly, we like to keep it clean. TV 14, as best as we can.
We're a Disney podcast. I mean, yes, you can speak to adults and we can still
Although
talk
that's
without
a topic
naughty
all
words.
in itself about how sometimes I think that the Disney space, I'm not saying that people have to be squeaky clean to have a Disney account, but there are, I mean, if they're just being themselves and whatever, I get it. But sometimes I do think there's a crossover mix where it's like, why do you have a Disney page if it's going to also encompass this topic? It's one thing if you're just a regular page and you also like Disney, but I do think it's interesting sometimes, just my personal take, when people have Disney pages that they also make about some seriously hot content. So
Yeah, then we know plenty of people in the space where they also keep a cleaner look, like wonderful thing about Disney and everything. They're more clean podcasts and all, which I appreciate because then you can just listen to it and not be like, oh, I can't listen to this
and
around
then
this
there's
person.
times like we would say like BBTM, like PM when we
After
bring back
dark,
the magic after dark. I do feel like it'd be really fun to do another upcoming. And again, even when we say after dark, we're not necessarily making it like, oh my God, this is super adult.
Doesn't have to be mainly racy,
on our podcast party, it got a little, hilarious and racy on certain things, but we make people aware of that. We're like, this is might get a little adult, but we still try to keep, I think, the Disney emphasis. But who knows? We never know if what we're doing is, how
I never know what I'm doing, and it's part of my
perceived by other people.
It's part of my charm.
But
So I've been doing a lot of work currently, since you asked, for the Festival of Friends, and can I tell you how much I'm loving it? Because literally everything that comes in, or anything like any kind of correspondence with people that I'm like linking up with and doing some stuff, it's all a lot of surprises out there. So I'm not going to give away things. If you're thinking you're getting spoilers, you're not. So spoiler alert, you're not getting a spoiler. I've just been like, I don't know. It's just giving me, I wouldn't say giving my life purpose. That sounds a little dramatic. I was just on the verge of this cliff. I'm like, I was hanging on by a thread. No. And then Festival of Friends came along to our festival fellow foofs, or whatever we call them, which is hysterical. So our Marco Polos, let me just tell you about right now, Gina, myself, and Missy. I was cracking up so much the other night just because it got off the rails. I won't say why I was cracking up. I'm like, but there was things in there that I literally couldn't breathe. I was laughing so hard. And it's funny because us as siblings, we get along pretty well. And it's just like, it's like a domino effect. Like one starts laughing, the other one starts laughing, then it just goes off the rails.
It was reminiscent of the whole bandage thing that we did back in the day where you'd had your surgery on your ear and you had the bandage.
It was on my jawline, because I had like some kind of little cyst thing.
And you didn't mention anything about it, but I knew why you had the bandage on. And then our sister Danny makes a Marco Polo with a big bandage on her forehead. And I'm like, oh, I get she's making fun of Josh. But our sister Brianna did not pick up on that joke. And she was like, oh, I don't think that's what Danny was doing. I thought she just had a headache. And I was like, a headache? Who bandages their head for a headache? And she's like, oh, no.
Someone's
It was one of those packs.
cautious.
I thought she meant one of those packs. So then I made a video of me with an eye patch on. I was like, oh, my eye was itching. So I put a bandage on. But I couldn't even get through it because I was laughing so hard because I'm not a good liar. And that's probably why my acting career always failed. I'm just not a good liar. So then it just went and just kept going. And it's one of my favorite polo stories. By the way, Marco Polo, you guys hear us talk about it a lot. And I always joke and say Marco Polo sponsor us. But the amount of people that have signed up for that app because I've encouraged it. If you've never used it, what is not a paid advertisement here? What is so great about it is exactly what you're talking about. What happened the other night that sent us off the rails, I can go back and rewatch it and show it to somebody else. And it's so funny. Whereas on a FaceTime, you can't do that because it's live and it's not recorded.
Yeah, same premise in Snapchat and all that kind of stuff. Well, like Snapchat, you can save stuff in your chat and go back.
You have to go and save every single one, like after not all of them are set up that way. So
my thing is like, I don't want to spend like $80 for the year on the.
You don't have to though. Like the only thing that benefits.
No, you don't. I'm saying, but the thing is with me, when you go in there, and it's not like me saying for or against Marco Polo, like I enjoy using it for our purposes, but it was, I can't fast forward something. So if it's a long thing and like you can't go 2 times speed, they're like, here, sign up for this if you want to, or you'd like to skip part of it. Like you have to watch everything through. And I go, and then you popped in the one time, you're like in the middle of mine. I was like, you can respond in the middle. I can't do any of this. This sucks. Because I'm like, and it's always the fastest finger kind of thing, especially with you, me, and Missy. Because we're like, one person stops and whoever's caught up, we're like, aha, hit it. And we're the next person to respond. So it's actually pretty funny, but I digress. But using that for the Festival of Friends stuff has proved useful because you had mentioned to use it. And it's filled me with a lot of laughter after a few different ones that have come through. So that was nice. But all of the swag bag stuff that we're doing for Festival of Friends, all the different swag things that we want to put into our welcome bag and all, I think people will be happy. I really do. I think people will enjoy it and see, that's all I want. I want people to have a good time.
Yeah.
Stuff aside, I just think it's going to be a fun event and I'm stoked. Like I really am. I'm getting in there the Monday before it starts and I'm going to get everything out of the way because I'm like, I'll be attentive. It's like I'm every second of that weekend, I'm in it. I'm going to do something. I want to do all the activities. I want to have all the fun. So if there's something else I want to do, I'm getting it in beforehand. I'm like, all right, I'm going to go here. I'm going to eat here so I don't waste time because this is going to take too long this day. So if you know what I mean. Gotcha. Response? No.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was looking for my Rubik's Cube. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, that happens all the time. Yes. Got to do something, Gina. Sometimes it's just one run-on sentence.
Okay.
But at any rate, what else is going on with us? Anything? Anything
I think
in your
the
world?
Festival of Friends has been like the main focus, obviously. And then, wanted to bring back Brunch Back to Magic, get some guests lined up for that. It's been a while since we had a podcast party, so that would be really fun. I know a lot of these things, a lot of work goes into them though. So sometimes, life be lifing, like everybody says. I feel like there's a lot of people that would normally be super present on social media that have been a little less present. And I always think about that, like, the first thought is always like, life be lifing, because I know how it is. Like, social media can be all consuming and I enjoy it. But at the same time, sometimes you got to ask yourself, like, if I'm spending so many hours a day, 8 hours a day on social media, and it's great and all, is it really a difference to anybody else if I'm on there 2 hours a day? Because all this stuff is there. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's not like you're missing a live conversation. Like you could take 2 hours and catch up on everything that you missed. And so whereas in your life, if you're spending time with your family, like those 6 hours that you could be spending with them instead make a greater difference in their life. Like yesterday, like yesterday I took my son out to a coffee shop and we went and had breakfast together and it was really nice and it was very sweet because the lady behind the counter said, he's so well spoken. And my son's 9 and he went up and ordered his food himself and he's like, and you like this, right, Mom? And ordered everything and used his great manners, all of his own. And she's like, he looks so cute in his little sweater and he's so well spoken. I said, thank you. That's like always the greatest compliment to me.
And can we talk about how much the weather has been weird? Because one day it's 90 degrees, the next day it was 40. And I'm like, that makes no sense.
Yeah. But what I was
when you said sweater, I was like, sweater?
I know. But what I was going to say was then we came home and he asked if we could play video games. So we played video games. I told him we'd play for an hour. We ended up playing for 2. And the amount of times he said to me over and over, thanks for doing this, Mom. Thanks for doing this. This is so nice.
That's
Thanks,
time
Mom.
you
This
won't
is my
get back.
favorite kind of quality time. Like, I love this. I love this. And, it was the biggest deal. And I thought that's 2 hours I could have been spending on social media for the millionth time during the day. And again, I love that time too, because it's not just like random posting. It's not like when I'm on there, I'm like, okay, let me just follow this rules of the algorithm. It's literally socializing with our friends.
Yeah.
That's why I prefer the social aspect of social media than when it feels like a business. And I was actually just having this conversation today about TikTok. Like if you go on TikTok and you're any form of creator on there, like it's like working for a corporation. You go in and the amount of rules, the amount of you need to do this, here's this. It's like a job being in there. So the people that are making money on TikTok, I can tell you, they're working for that money because it is so many rules, so many things you have to keep up with, so many, and then since it's, changed ownership, it's so much. Whereas I like Instagram because Instagram still has that feeling of kicking it on your patio with your friends and hanging out,
Just putting stuff out there.
Yeah.
My only gripe about anything is like it's always meta wise. It's like whether it's Instagram, Facebook, whatever. I don't use Facebook basically ever. And it's like
Me either.
you don't go out to the people that you actually are connected with. Like it's like it doesn't show things to most people. Like you can have all these people that are friends. I'm like, oh, I never saw that. This never came up in my feed. This never showed, and they don't show it to that. They show it now. It's like it's weird because the algorithm rewards new content. Like it's weird how they made it so it wasn't like, oh, you have this big following. It's like newer content for new eyes and everything else.
It did that with us a little in the beginning because I think when you look at our growth pattern, like how fast we were growing on Instagram in the beginning, and then now, like since let's say for first podcast party, I think was when we hit like 3,000, and then it's like after that, no matter what you're doing, you'll be doing the same thing, and it's just you don't know. And when you were saying about not seeing people, like.
Yeah.
Like, for example, like Mark and Stacy, we always talk about them, good friends of ours. I have every notification on for their content. And the amount of times I have to go to their page to see what they've posted. I like it. I interact with it. I'm like, why are you not showing it to me? The other day, I actually went on Missy's page and I was reading like comments on a post of hers. And I said, oh, did this person delete some of their comments because I see more responses from you than I see comments? She's like, no, they're still there. And I was like, that's weird. So I went over on my personal page and looked and I could see all the comments. But when I went on our page, I could only see part of the comments. So I was like, so there's no way to know. There's no way
Maybe
to
somebody
know.
blocked us. Like, you stink.
No, because I could see the other ones. I could see from that same person. I can only see part of their stuff. So I was like, that's weird.
Interesting.
But I will say that that's to my point why as much as it's an important part of whatever brand you're building or whatever you're doing, like overall, I feel like more and more people are kind of pulling back a little on the time they're spending because it kind of feels like, for what? Like, what am I spending and investing in this when I could be spending that extra time in real life? I always feel like our cell phones put off a light like Men in Black where they're just erasing our short-term memory because my memory of things that happened long ago is so much better than what happened recently.
Yeah. It's weird. It just gets swept away like it's in a fire.
Yes. But meanwhile, I do want to give a little mid-show shout out to our friends. Wonderful Thing About Disney. You mentioned already once.
Yeah.
Because they just hit 10,000 on Instagram.
Absolutely awesome.
Love them. Their content is always so much fun. Besides their 1-star reviews, they go, guys, if you haven't checked out their podcast, please do. They're awesome. They're awesome, but really happy for them because they had a real
I love
growth
Jake and
spurt,
Ashley.
and it's kept going, and I would love to see it just keep going and going and going for them.
No, I love them. They're easily 100 times better than us. Go watch them. So everybody says correct answer. Just teasing. We love to be what we are. And I was going to say, is it getting hot in here? The weather's changed, but it might be hot because it's time for hot takes. Ooh, look at this. Sizzling. Flame broiled like the Whopper. I love it. Gina, what is your hot take for this week?
I'm trying to make my hot takes actual hot takes, meaning that not everybody would agree with what I have to say about it. And this, I think, is a hot take. I think that sometimes Disney is almost forgetting about families. Like, not prioritizing them for sure as the demographic in what they do as much as they used to. I think that they are almost overshooting the mark. For the longest time, it was like, hey, don't forget about Disney adults. Don't forget about the dinks, or don't forget about just single people that go. But now it seems more and more that things are becoming a little less family friendly. And when they hit the mark on the films, and I'm not saying that, you have to only do one or the other. I believe in a balance because for a long time I was somebody who's going as a single person. I was still going with my family, but not like as in married and kids kind of family. Because part of that comes from obviously rides that are going to exclude people, smaller children maybe can't get on it. Maybe the people that they're utilizing to market their things are less for the families and more for the single adults. And again, I'm all for, I love to go on a Disney adults trip and do things as Disney adults. I think it's great, but sometimes it feels like maybe the family aspect is just being a little forgotten. That's why that Disney cruise commercial hit people so hard because
Yeah, it was back to
they
core
were
Disney.
like, hey, like hit you in the feels and hit that emotion of the family. So I don't know. It's not something I can 100% put into words specifically, but sometimes like Universal, I don't think markets themselves as like a family park the same way Disney did. And sometimes I think when Disney's trying to compete with Universal, they're also sometimes taking too much from their playbook and they lose sight of what originally is them and what makes it special.
You gotta know what your identity is. Yeah.
Yeah, I do think at the heart, like we've talked about, like drinking around the world is great, but not very family friendly. There's a big difference between drinking around the world and drunking around the world. And sometimes I think that gets drunking. And again, to our credit, we still shared our story of pub golf with our Jackson Olsen episode, but we live and you learn. I don't know. So that's just my hot take for this week. Something I've been thinking about.
Nice. No, I agree with that. My hot take is going to be a little more hotter of a take, I would say. And I don't know how people are going to feel about this.
Uh-oh.
So with our new CEO, Josh, okay, also because I'm thinking this was before he even got in there, there's a big round of layoffs, okay? 1,000 people laid off and gotten rid of, mainly like Marvel Visual Studios and all that stuff. Like the visual department was completely like axed out. I feel like that made sense. Might be a hot take for some people. I'm sorry to the people that got taken away. Those people are, I'm sure, I think Disney did right by a lot of people from what I heard, but it still sucks for them. But the move did make sense from a corporation standpoint.
Yeah.
The Marvel movies are not what they used to be. They're just not. It's just they think everybody's going to go see everything. There was too much stuff put in the pipeline. It was too much all at once. They should have spread it out more. And that's why a lot of things never caught fire and they didn't get a chance. They rushed them. I feel like it was needed because now they're outsourcing basically a lot of that work for the visual studios. There was
a lot in the marketing department that got laid off too, and that may be part of the issue of people saying the commercials weren't driving you.
Well, maybe it's just that identity thing, but I know one of the bigger things was the Marvel visual studio part.
Yeah.
So that made sense to me. Like I said, I'm sorry if you're one of those people. God bless you. I'll keep you in my thoughts and everything else and pray for you because you are good people. But
once
the fact
again,
is,
bring back the magic is accused of it.
Yeah, I know. Somebody's like, they hate people. They hate people. They want everybody to get fired. I don't like when anybody gets fired, but from a corporation move or what they spend on stuff, if you're going to have people in there and they're constantly paid around the clock and they're putting out subpar stuff that you're losing money on, you can't afford to pay them. Yeah. Like you can't. That's not a cheap position. That's like, okay, we already know that there's underpay for cast members and stuff like that, and they should make all the money in the world, in my opinion, because they are magic makers.
Well, because you can't have the parks without them.
Exactly.
In any way, shape, or form, not just the actual.
But I feel like when you're in a visual studios, kind of visual effects, all this kind of stuff. I mean, the guy was heading that up as one of the guys got let go, and he's been doing it for years. Was it Andy Park? I want to say, but it's like it sucks for them, but I see how it makes sense. I really do. And if you're cutting costs, Disney is putting like $60 billion into upgrades here, building the Abu Dhabi park and everything. Abu Dhabi's not going to be paid by Disney. That's going to be paid by the UAE or something like that or whatever. But again, I just think it makes sense. So before everybody comes with their pitchforks and torches.
It's your turn this time, Josh.
Yeah, don't be like, your turn. I hope I get a good snapshot.
I can't wait to post the clip.
Yeah, it'll be like this. Every time somebody takes a screen grab of me, it's the worst picture ever. And I'm like, that's what I look like. I'm done. I've looked in the mirror before and I look like this.
It's hard though, because that's the one thing I will say is something I've noticed lately, and maybe it's a hot take on us, is that when I have done clips, you've seen I've posted less clips because my favorite clips are the ones where I feel like it's you and me. And that's why, off camera, I'm always saying like a conversation between you and me is what I think the podcast does better with
start doing that.
Than talking like we're talking on a show.
Yeah.
Because when I go to the clips and they all seem so serious, I don't like it. I don't like there's sometimes there's a topic that's really relevant. It's like, okay, share it. But when all the clips are like serious conversation. That doesn't feel like us because we're not very
No, it's
serious.
not. We're not serious people to begin with, and we could be, but it's really not
And I think
entertaining.
but I do think that's the struggle of a podcast. And I'm sure our podcast friends would say, you know, once you've hit a year, and I think that's why a lot of people, like the daddy said, we realize that we need a guest every week because it keeps the content fresh because you run out of things to talk about when it's just the two of you. But the irony being, we said we do talk about Disney every single day. So sometimes that might be a topic that we're revisiting and we're talking about again. But when you and I are talking just to each other and we're like, I feel like it's fun, it's silly. Like you just said about our Marco Polos. When it's like content, like with anything else, I feel like then it's, you know, I don't know. It just doesn't feel like
it's weird.
us the same way. So yeah, your screen grabs are going to be because you're like serious or I'm like serious. And it's like serious, overrated, not a fan.
I'm like, oh my goodness. Yeah. So this week, our subject is rides that are no longer around.
Attractions.
Yeah, fatal attractions.
Although,
That's
does that
cute.
sound like an attraction that might kill you?
Yeah, fatal attractions. I'm like, oh, man. It's like that and Fabio getting hit in the face with a bird.
Oh, what? No, that was it turned out because originally I'd heard the story of the guy on Stardust Racers had been a bird hitting him, but then I think it turned out he had a medical condition and that's
Oh no, he shouldn't have been on that ride.
But
to begin with.
originally
he couldn't hold
the
himself
story
up and he was
that
throwing
was
like a rag
leaking
doll.
was
Yeah.
a bird, and that would have just been never want to ride again.
Yeah, that's a fluke like thing. You can get over that. Everything else, you're like, yeah, it was a sad story.
Where's Randy Johnson?
Yeah. That there was nothing left of that bird when he hit that with that fastball. It was like, oh, that's like poof. Anyhow, so fatal attractions, rides that are gone. We can go park by park and just talk about our memories of like a lot of these things.
Yeah.
So let's start in Magic Kingdom because it's the OG park anyway. Here's one thing that I will say, and it's not just attractions, it's things that are just gone in general or been scaled back. One thing I loved growing up, going down Main Street, was looking in the Emporium windows.
I miss that so much.
And they do it occasionally. They'll have one little thing, but they used to have so much motion.
It changed with
stuff.
every new movie.
Yes. So you have like different sets and all. Like there'd be like some kind of moving little diorama deal.
Yeah.
And it was my favorite because I just sit up there like, it's almost like the beginning of A Christmas Story when Ralphie's looking, statue. No, that was different. But it was just him looking at the Red Ryder BB gun.
Yeah.
That was the kind of feeling I got because it was like, wow, it's weird for a child to just, that's one of the things. You're in Disney World. There's rides, there's other things, there's characters, but I just want to go look in this window because it's what caught my eye. I don't know if it's like because creative gene in me, like whatever, just.
No, I think it's true. It's kind of like when kids would rather play with the box than the, what's inside it. That packaging is everything. And before we even get into this, I do want to say, I think this is a valuable topic because a lot of our Disney friends are not lifelong Disney fans. Mm-hmm. A lot of them are newer to the parks. Like I think it was Jax. It surprised me just to hear Jacqueline say that her first visit, I think, was 2024. And I was like, I never would have guessed that because she's like a lifelong. Callie's, not that the kind of like, I don't want to say new to the game, but like not as many years going. So there's some people that are lifelong and we can share the stories. And I know the people that love it now are like, oh, I wish I could have experienced that. So I think an episode like this is fun for them to hear the stories of what was, because you can hear a name of like, oh, what was this? But why did we love it so much? Because people always think newer is better, not necessarily, but I absolutely agree with you. Emporium Windows was something, and it does maybe harken back to days that we didn't get to experience the big department store displays. Like Mom talks about in Baltimore, there used to be that, like the way there is in New York now. Big displays in the, obviously we love the movie Mannequin, so that was also.
Yeah, in Baltimore, like, you can't put this display, just someone else steal it.
But the Emporium windows, every trip, it was like, what's going to be in the window? When you knew a new movie had come out, especially during the Renaissance, it was like, oh, there's going to be a window for Aladdin. There's going to be a window for and then when they stopped doing it, it was kind of like, they started just doing like a static one.
Now it's like, they got like things that's like it's very limited. It used to be a lot of windows. Like, oh, this is a static window. And you'd be like, oh, this one's moving.
But it was great movie marketing. And they talk about all the time how there's not enough. Like when Hunchback came out, they did like a whole parade and stage show.
The thing is,
stuff.
like, the shop itself has changed so much in the Emporium because they've done so many renovations. They changed it, like it just flows through the entire thing now. But it's a lot of work they've done. So I don't know, like accessing the windows, how they do stuff, or what time they have to actually invest, to get these things going.
But it was great marketing for the movie because it really told the whole story to a point as you went, and you went window to window to window. And anytime Disney can create something that there's no need for a line, there's no need for a cast member to operate, rain or shine, you can enjoy. That's smart. You
Yeah.
know, that's a smart, like little filler attraction, so to
Yeah.
speak. It's even down to the jumping fountains and, Journey to Imagination, where it's
Yeah.
like somebody can be over there. No need for anybody to operate that. It's just going and it's just fun. But I agree with you 100%. That was, and speaking of Main Street, I'm just going to throw it out there because I just made a reel about it. Main Street Electrical Parade. That is something, and I've heard the story that apparently they stored these floats in what I've learned from our family that lives in Florida, storage is very important in Florida because things can disintegrate.
Oh, yeah.
Things all
Humidity and
yes. So
yeah.
that they stored these in a
more
way
so the electronic stuff from humidity.
that they kind of destroyed the floats. So the actual floats could not come back. They would have to rebuild the parade. And I say, and okay, that soundtrack, you can't tell me that it doesn't spark nostalgia, and every single person hears it. Again, I say, till I'm blue in the face, blue like starlight, that it was an event. It was an event. We would sit and wait hours for that parade, hours for it. It was just magical. And it was so much street atmosphere. It was so much interaction. It was like you felt like as a kid, I'm going to get to see all my favorite characters at once in this one show together. It was amazing. It was amazing. And I loved it from start to finish. Every single aspect, never got tired of it. And I would love to see that come back. I would love to see that. That is such a magical Magic Kingdom memory for me.
Yeah, no, and thing is, like, there was stuff in Tomorrowland. Okay, so Tomorrowland has undergone so many changes. I think probably the most in the park, I would say, has happened in Tomorrowland, because they have to, like, update things, obviously, because the name, like, the Wedway People Mover has been changed, like Tomorrowland Transit Authority. Then it's like People Mover, all these different, like, it's changed names. The ride hasn't really changed. It may add a couple little things here and there, aesthetically, from like what it overlooks, because, Buzz Lightyear went in, all that stuff. But if you remember, like, If You Had Wings was based on travel, like flights, and
Eastern Airlines.
Eastern Airlines, and then it was Delta's Dream Flight afterwards, and then made way for Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin, which has now just been updated again. So look, this another update. OG attraction, look at Carousel of Progress, was finally getting a upgrade and putting Walt in there. But I remember going on the If You Had Wings. I can't remember If You Had Wings as much as I can remember Dream Flight, because Dream Flight, you're in the car.
Paper, it looked like pop-up books.
Yeah, and then you had that, and then you went through, you were going through, like, the plane, like you were, like, it was the tube of the plane, but you went through it, like, from the width part of it. You're like, and you just go through. I was like, oh, it's a plane. I don't know why that stuck out in my mind, but it was a garbage attraction. It really was.
The thing is that you got to, first of all, compare it to the time. Like, what kind of attractions? They were all family friendly.
Omnimovers,
right?
yeah. It was like,
They were all, the Omnimover kept you being able to cycle a lot of people through the attraction. If You Had Wings, I will say, great soundtrack. And that is a big part of something that Disney has missed. There's not as many attractions nowadays, maybe Mickey's Runaway Railway, where there is a theme song that goes with it that people are like, oh, and look at how popular that song is. People use it over and over and over again because it is an earworm, but people use it because people do love an attraction that has a soundtrack to it. It kind of like makes you feel that Disney vibe even when you're not there, when you can be singing along or you hear it and it sparks something. So if you had
how
wings,
long would you have to be stuck on that ride to go crazy from that song? I think
I feel like the
15
best way for people that didn't experience If You Had Wings to compare it to, even though it wasn't a boat ride, would be Grand Fiesta Tour.
Yeah,
I feel like
probably
it was
something close.
kind of like along that same kind of style
Simple.
ride, especially the parts we were going through and the screens and whatnot. But it was a travel theme ride. I loved it. What do I sometimes wonder? Do I love things because they're not here anymore? And then you're like, did I I always say about, which we'll get to later, but like both Horizons and the original Journey into Imagination, they never had a line before they closed. But to be fair, we have learned from watching our old home videos, there just wasn't a lot of lines at certain times a year anyway. Like,
well, that's the difference now, because
the crowds were way
there
smaller.
isn't an off season anymore.
Right.
Like they're saying, like you're like a 2-week window. It's usually maybe in September or something like that. September might be down.
September's the only low crowd season.
Yeah, everything else has
Love
just
September
become like
now.
people with holidays,
Festivals and holidays.
all the festivals and all. And yeah, that's the truth. So it's a different situation now. Okay. And then you, like I said, everything keeps changing around different parts. One of the things was Alien Encounter. I know that you hated Alien Encounter. Then it went to Stitch's Great Escape after Alien Encounter. Because actually Alien Encounter was first. And then they downgraded it because it was too scary at first. And then they made it less scary. And then they put Stitch in there.
I'll never understand how that was a fit for Tomorrowland, though. Like Alien Encounter. Was it?
It was saying you reached that, like, sees the future with excess. Remember the guy in there? Because it's like, it was supposed to be that there was this futuristic thing. You were boarding down. Like,
storyline, but it just didn't give Disney, like, to
yeah,
like nothing
it is
about
what
it.
it
I'm
is.
not saying everything has to be IP, obviously, but like, it just didn't give Disney Magic Kingdom vibes.
I hope it's really not black mold in that location.
I hear
that
there's
they
a lot of black mold in Disney.
but they said that's the reason why they can't do anything in there. Yeah. And I'm like, really? That seems weird. I don't know how much validity there is. Maybe there's
it wouldn't shock me.
But and it's weird that like some things stay, like the little Astro Orbiter on top of everything. When it was taken out, they fixed it. Yeah, I know they took it out and fixed it. I was like, why? I'm like, this thing is. I don't like heights. Full disclosure, I don't like heights.
Yeah,
but I also don't like rides that can be picked up, moved off it, and put back. They definitely won't see me. That's why I don't ride carnival rides. I'm like, if you can put this up overnight, nope, won't see my fat ass on it.
I will say probably, I don't know that I would trade Buzz Lightyear because I do think that's a fun, interactive ride.
No, I like that.
Trade it for the previous attractions.
No, Dreamflight and If You Had Wings were garbage. Both of them were garbage attractions.
Garbage.
I'm
very retro. So
no, I liked the memories. The memories were great there. I love it. But does it stand the test of time? Kids would be like, they would throw rocks at that attraction if you brought it back. Be like, it's the equivalent of getting socks for Christmas from your grandparents.
It takes me back to that time. So that's why for me, it's like, because it was so retro. It was so like 70s.
We used to play Jack down by the soda fountain.
70s, 80s vibes. And that's what I loved about it.
Yeah, it's pretty rad. I
loved it.
I'm serious. There would be protests outside that road. When is it closing? But weirdly enough, we can't get that in front of Mission Space because that's garbage. No. Anyway, but again, Carousel Progress sits there, OG, as it was. Same thing with People Mover. So those have not been touched.
It's had minor updates because it used to be Rex Allen and they changed a lot of the scenes.
Yeah, and then it's looking like Space Mountain has had updates through it, like cars, everything.
Nothing that somebody's going to be like, oh my God, this is so different.
Do you remember what Space Mountain when you had to ride, like it was like somebody in front of you and the cars were different? You like sat between somebody's legs.
Like the Matterhorn.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That was a different ride vehicle. And they changed stuff obviously with the exit. Remember when they were doing construction, you had to come out the long way out the back? That was terrible.
Tron, you practically over Tron at that point.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it was basically you were driving. Now they've got like a little back walkway into like the what is it? The little circus part or whatever it is, the backyard circus or whatever, storybook circus. Is that what it's called? I always forget what it is. I call it Toontown 0.02.
Yeah, I would love to see something change in that.
I miss Toontown. That was the other thing. Okay, so let's talk about that. Toontown.
Yeah,
it's gone. Like you're like, we're gonna put storybook circus.
What's more Mickey Mouse? What's more Magic Kingdom than being able to walk through Mickey and Minnie's houses? Like for children, that was such a big deal.
Well, remember when they did the whole storybook circus thing? It was talking about how they put in 2 Dumbos because they were like, Dumbo 45-second ride, an hour and a half for, and they're like, this is, and then they had a little play area in the middle so you can wait to go and do stuff. I'm like, well, it was smart. And now it's like I never see a ride or a line for that ride.
Yeah,
I don't see it often. And
but
I'm
the tent over there just became like a big gift shop. Where
that used to be like the meet and greet
area.
Yeah, that was all like the princesses.
There's 3 different lines. So one might be like it had changed. It might have been like Winnie the Pooh and Friends, and then the princess room was always a staple. You didn't know what 3 princesses you were going to get till you got in line, and then one might have been.
Wouldn't it be funny if it was like Whammy, like you got like the evil stepsisters, and you're like, gross. What were their names?
Yeah, Anastasia and Drizella.
Yeah.
I would love though that, I mean, it's not going to come back, but I did love that. Like for kids, we did it every single time we were there. It was like Mickey and Minnie's houses you could walk through. And then they also had like Pluto and Donald or something, but you couldn't walk through those. Those were just like,
Donald was like a boat.
Donald still is there, like it's a boat.
Yeah, it was a boat.
That was fun. That was like a really fun, again, very minimal. He wasn't going to break down or anything like that. So it's just kind of surprising. But again, I often feel like they're taking.
I want to say there was a bank because I have a picture of me sitting on like the stoop of it, like with a bunch of money in front of me. Like I had dad's money from his pocket or whatever. And I was going like this and it was in front of that. Like it was just like a little bank thing. So I thought that was a cute memory.
I remember that.
But if you look at
around the corner from there, Mr. Toad.
Oh yeah, well,
which every Disney fan.
I love Mr. Toad.
Yeah.
But that's why when I go to Disneyland, it is a must do for me. Because again, you said this on another podcast. You're like, yeah, you thought you're going to hit walls. You're going to do all this stuff.
It was
like,
2 tracks.
And nobody got the fact that you died and you went to hell and that's where the demons came from and everything else. You're like, this is kind of.
It's only 1 track at Disneyland, but it's 2 tracks at Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
And it was a wild ride. It was well made because as a child, it was like, it was a lot of dark and it felt thrilling. It really felt thrilling for a very basic ride.
I liked it because I was a stupid kid and I'm not much better now, but I felt like I was actually driving and I'm like, yeah I'm driving this. Yeah. Oh, sorry guys, whatever. I'm like, this idiot. I swear, I'm like, you're not driving it, kid.
No, I absolutely loved that ride. I mean, I enjoy Winnie the Pooh. I think it's cute. It's definitely fun for littles and stuff. It's a cute story.
Take her every bounce.
That was good. But I really love Mr. Toad because it was a very classic attraction. It was a unique IP that you don't see much of. So I do miss that. And I also just feel like even though I didn't particularly care for Snow White's adventures, I just feel like that princess hall or whatever it is just kind of like a waste of that space. Yeah. Because they could have just put that right back over in Storybook Circus and done meet and greets there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So when they took out Snow White to do that, that was, in my opinion, dumb. Mm-hmm. I mean, also, I told you I have memories of waiting there with Peyton for literally like 4 or 5 hours for the Anna and Elsa. And I'm like, now it's like you can see them in 5 seconds.
I had heard a thing. I don't know if it was Dapper Danielle that was telling the story, but I'd heard a thing that said in the original concept of New Fantasyland, there was going to be like multiple meet and greet areas. And I think Snow White, like Mine Train, wasn't even a part of the original concept. And they were going to do like the way they'd had Ariel's Grotto. They were going to have like different locations of meet and greets. And that was the expansion.
Winnie the Pooh does it.
And then
there's a meet and greet right next to it.
But that was going to be like the concept. And then they realized like they needed another coaster. They could make it happen. So they kind of compiled all the princess meet and greets into the, one attraction of Princess Hall or whatever it is.
So this is why I'm also looking forward to the expanse of Villains Land, because more attractions, more rides, more something like that. Because Magic Kingdom is packed with rides. It's most in the parks, but it's like you need more of them because there's so many people in the parks. You got to disperse all these people into different little buckets basically around this park.
Yeah.
But same token, we're in Fantasyland. And you go around 20,000 Leagues was there. So that was a thing. I'm trying to think.
I never remember. I think I rode 20,000 like when I was a kid, but the Sky Buckets, we talked about this on Ashley's Theme Park Tavern. Those Sky Buckets that took you across. I don't know why that was. I mean, I do know why. That was less terrifying to me than the gondolas for Skyliner because you're not as high and you weren't floating over, potentially water or a highway. I did enjoy those. They were fun. It wasn't like a regular kind of attraction, but I remember being so sad when they took them out. Like, I can't believe you're going to take that whole thing out. Like, it felt like such a big deal.
Oh, the Sky Buckets, yeah.
Yeah, I felt like such a big deal that was being taken out.
I remember someone was cleaning and fell out of it or whatever and died. I think that was one of the things, yeah.
Ew.
The Sky Buckets. Yeah. That was one of the things we were saying. There was a death, like somebody was cleaning and fell out of one of them or something like that. Why would you be up in the air? But I don't know. I think it might be just an urban legend.
That's a horrible story.
A little something uplifting for you.
I mean, obviously
Here's a fact I made up.
We've talked ad nauseum, obviously, about Splash Mountain, how we missed that. We don't need to go in really detail of that, but that is one that I would say that I, miss in Magic Kingdom.
When we were doing theme park chat with the Legend of the Lion King, okay, like I forgot all about that.
I didn't because I loved it.
And it was Magic Journeys too that was over there.
Magic Journeys,
Legend of the Lion King, and now it's Mickey's PhilharMagic. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, it didn't dawn on me until now because it's been PhilharMagic for so long that I'm like,
Yeah.
oh,
I remember it vividly because I loved Lion King so much. I loved that.
I like the
love that
human
movie.
Rafiki or whatever came out like there.
Yeah.
Like, what
So
that
for those who
actor?
don't know where PhilharMagic currently is, you would go in and there was a pre-show where you'd be standing or sitting on the floor. And it was Rafiki, like a person in a Rafiki costume came out and did a whole little intro with you. And then they showed a film clip that was a very large, long, because it had to balance what was happening in the theater, you know, to make a pre-show kind of worth it.
Correction, I know your father.
And they showed a long, like, circle of life, like the whole entire song, and did like clips. It wasn't the exact intro, I think, from the beginning. I think they spliced it up a little bit differently. And then it would come up at the end of the song and it would say, boom, Legend of the Lion King. And then you would go into the theater. And then the best way I can describe it is it's very similar to The Voyage of the Little Mermaid at Hollywood Studios. So it's going to be a combination of people and puppets. But the only person that's going to be part of it, because there's no person in the Lion King movie, is going to be the person who's in the Rafiki costume. He's still part of the show. But I miss that aspect. There's something so much more magical. Yes, robotics make things easier and whatever, although we know it makes things break down more. But knowing that it was actual cast members operating these puppets and telling the story, and obviously gut-wrenching the scene where Mufasa, you know, dies. But
Spoiler alert!
It told the whole movie in this whole puppet thing with, you know, projection screen or movie on the background and everything. And I loved it. I remember I was devastated when they closed that down. I loved
it was good. It was a good.
I loved
good
attraction. But I just loved it because I loved Lion King so much. Lion King is so great. Now, obviously, it wouldn't.
I still don't understand why they got rid of Snow White. I know that you were supposed to be Snow White in the ride, so we're like, where's Snow White in this?
They really only got rid of it because they needed to make room for that meet and greet.
Yeah, I think that's just a BS excuse. But the fact is, I'm like that ride again. It's Snow White. Now it's got.
Never believe that Horizon
now
sinkhole.
Now it's got, you know, Mine Train. So there's like there is a Snow White and Seven Dwarfs themed ride.
Yeah.
But it's not.
So that's probably why
same.
they justified it. Like, well, we're going to make
it's just
Snow
not
White.
the same because it's not so much about Snow White. It's not a very princessy kind of ride for, you know.
I
Especially
think that ride gets a lot more hate than I think it deserves because I think it's a Mine Train.
Oh no, I
it
like
gets
Mine
a
Train.
lot of hate on social. A lot of hate. People
Yeah,
really
people just don't like standing in
detest
line.
it. But for me, I love it because, again, the way it's built, it's the smoothest roller coaster for me because of that swing motion on it. It keeps you from like really feeling all.
No, I love it. I'm like, honestly,
shock.
like the queue line, I feel like they never quite get it right. You're either in there, like, and it'll say
death tunnel of heat.
Yeah, well, the thing is, they'll be like, oh, it's a 40-minute wait. Then you get in line, it's like 140 minutes or something.
Right,
You're like,
fart funnel.
You're like, oh, and then you got the kids that'll like be drinking out of that water part of the wall. I'm like, somebody filled up their water bottle, and the ones I go, that's recycled water. They keep hitting that. I'm like, God only knows what's in there. I'm like, oh, people make bad decisions in that line, like getting in it when it's too long. But if you go to other parts of the park, okay, Splash Mountain, obviously, you've already said it's been gone. Country Bears has been revamped, and I don't like the redo.
I like the older one.
The older one, I think, was better.
That's just cute. I don't hate it. If I'd never seen the old one, I wouldn't be like, this sucks. But I do, you know, it's not a secret, guys. Bring back. I just tend to prefer all the older stuff. That's just me.
No, like there's classic stuff that you get brought up on.
Yeah.
But I definitely think with. Like I keep saying it, it's Splash Mountain's a needless retheme because it had nothing to do with the controversial stuff that they
Mark
say,
Twain,
but it had nothing to do with that.
Tom Sawyer's Island, boat. Did I ever get on it? No, in the last 20 years, I've never got on it. Like I went on that back in the day.
It might have been like a couple years ago that I actually was.
Not me. I haven't been on it since my early 20s, so I can't really like make a stink about.
That was 30 years ago. Woo.
I can't really make a thing about like, oh, I'm gonna miss. So aesthetically, I love the look of it there. I thought it was like very in theme of the area. So I'm sad that it will be gone for that reason.
Mm-hmm.
You know, more concrete isn't really ideal. Like, you know, some waterways and things like that are appealing just overall. But I'm not gonna act like I got on it all the time or anything like that. Why are we so blippy today?
I don't know.
Our screen is blippy. That happened once, I think, in our last episode too.
Yeah, it's happening again for some reason. I wasn't going to bring attention to it, but you did.
I mean, people are going to see it. They're watching the same show.
Maybe they just think they've got
having a seizure.
Yeah.
Anyway, so in Magic Kingdom,
neuralizer.
I'm trying to think in Magic Kingdom if there's anything else because in Adventureland, I don't really think there was anything removed in there, and So maybe we can move on to
Well, the thing is, and I feel like this is probably going to end up being a
Two parts.
two-part episode, which we'll go into a couple more things here, but we can venture into Epcot.
yeah.
Epcot's a big one. Like it is like there's a lot of stuff that's happened in Epcot over the years. I mean, like
Right.
you have just from Epcot's had things not only attractions but aesthetics and all taken in and out because remember the 2000 that went over top Epcot,
Was
like
not
the
a fan.
wand thing, and then it had Epcot instead of 2000. I'm like, I don't know whose idea that was,
I
but it
didn't
was
care
not
for
a good
either of
one.
those. But
That for like those who don't know, it's like it was a huge thing that like spanned across Spaceship
right, a big
Earth.
2000 with a Mickey hand.
Yeah, that was for the Millennium
and a wand, doing a
celebration.
2000 on top of
And then they just
Spaceship
changed it to say Epcot later.
Right.
And I'm like, still, you're like, wow, he did this.
Earth. Yeah.
So rides in there, especially when you go through and you go over to like where Test Track is. Test Track used to be World of Motion.
Yeah.
And World of Motion, like that was a little earworm song that's in there, you know, because Gina knows it well, you know. And again, sorry if this is clippy this time. I mean, the audio will be fine, but for some reason, I don't know what's going on with our software that it keeps going.
World of Motion, again, and we've obviously talked about it on previous episodes, but it was, for those who never rode it, it was very much like Spaceship Earth. It was very similar design ride, but instead of going through communication history, you were going through transportation history.
Mhm.
And it was so fun. Lots of animatronics, lots of fun music, really a ride through history. I just thought it was so fun and so relaxing. A great get out of the heat, into the AC kind of attraction. I loved it. I loved it. And then you came down to the showroom where you were allowed to get in the cars and stuff. I feel like they don't really do that
Oh
anymore.
yeah,
Like,
there was a lot of fun with that. That's why
but it was such a fun attraction and the music was great.
Mhm.
And then now when they opened Test Track was exciting when it first opened. And then when they said that they were hearkening to much more like World of Motion, I feel like that was not true.
No, it really wasn't. Like
The song
some
was in there.
some aesthetics were maybe to it, but it's the same exact ride mechanic
Right.
and everything else.
Right.
I mean, the big thing, the heartbreaker was when Horizons left.
Yeah.
And you're like, and then especially when you put in, Mission Space, which is again, I'm like, I don't want to feel like I got thrown into a dryer. If you like it, that's fine. I was like, but I feel like it's not a crowd pleaser ride of any sort. Most people are against it, not for it. So why keep it? Like you could put some, and the thing is, they still have not done anything with Wonders of Life and Wonders of Life. All the things that came out of there, there's a ton. You've got, hey Scuzzy, you got Cranium Command that was in there. You got Body Wars that was in there. It was basically the same
There's
equivalent as Star Tours.
There's actually, on side note, there's a whole documentary that's coming out called Stolen Kingdom. And it's all about like the influencers or vloggers that would go behind the scenes and the whole stealing of Buzzy. Like that's a big part of the whole story, like almost like the main story of it. So I'm really like anxious to watch that. But when you're talking about Horizons, that's why I will never believe the sinkhole theory of the Horizons because they closed it and then reopened it.
Well, the thing is,
And then closed it
I just think it was the
I don't buy
BS
that
excuse. But remember that story I had about me and Danny being on the ride, and we went earlier in the day, and they had that little cat that was swiping at the fish on the thing, and then we came back later and rode it, and there was a wire sticking out of the ground. The cat was gone, and I'm like, somebody steal the cat? And then again, we told people, I was like, what? And then we came back on again. It was this little patch of grass that was stuck over the wires, and I'm like, somebody
Guys,
took that
I
cat.
just can't even describe to you how much we miss Horizons because Horizons was the unofficial sequel to the Carousel of Progress. So when you went in, again, we had talked about this recently that like Future World, which it breaks my heart that Future World is not a thing anymore because it was so unique. It was so well themed. It was so cohesive. Everything about it was like Disney's brand. And it wasn't meant to be the actual future as much as it was really like the retro version of the future, World's Fair kind of future.
Yeah, 100%.
And when you went into Horizons, the queue area, the music, the neon lights, and then you get in your little Omni mover and you're taking it was the Jules Verne future, right? And you're going through and you're hearing the story and you're hearing the voiceover, which is very much like the couple essentially from Carousel of Progress, John and Sarah, and telling you this whole story about living, like life. And it was just so relaxing. And it was, again, a lot of those things would be very outdated. The concept of FaceTime basically was so foreign to all of us. But at the end, when they're all like holograms, I can be at the birthday party. It always blew my mind, though, the girl who had the birthday cake. It's like, well, wait a minute. you made a birthday cake and you're a hologram at the party. The kid can't eat the cake via hologram, so that doesn't really make sense. She shouldn't have been the one making the cake. She can't bring that to the party via hologram.
Yeah.
And then it was
Common sense, guys.
And it was the birth of Soren, essentially, because you had
Yeah.
that section that was the big screen that you felt like you were actually going over a city. And then you had the choose your own adventure ending, basically, where you
Yeah.
got to pick, majority ruled, in the car, what is going to be. Are you going to be desert? Are you going to be space? Are you going to be underwater? And it was just so
Yeah, one was Mesa Verde.
cool. It was so cool. The whole section, there was one section that was like 3 stories tall. And when you saw the ship that was underwater, and the school that was taking the field trip underwater, all in their scuba gear and learning, and like things like that still seem very futuristic to me. Even like the robot butler and all that, like it was just such a vibe. And it's bad enough to lose it because it was always our favorite. But then to lose it for Mission Space that doesn't feel like it fits. It's not overall crowd pleasing. And how many years now? What year did Horizons close? It had to be like 98, 99. So you got to be coming up again on another ride, just like OG Journey into Imagination. The new one's been open longer than the old one. That's got to be being the truth about
Well, that's the thing now you
Horizons
say,
also and Mission Space.
and there's more stuff in there, and we can go into a couple before we call it quits for the part 1. But Universe of Energy was Universe of Energy. Then it was Ellen's Universe of Energy, which got Ellen, and then they got that out of there. And it was like, now it's obviously Guardians, and which is a huge upgrade. I'm like, but I thought the ride mechanic from Universe of Energy was really cool.
Yeah,
like just
it
because
was
you're in like a ultra, but all of a
Moving
sudden you're
theater.
moving. You're like moving theater. You're like, oh wow, this is great, and it breaks off in little cars, and you're like, oh, this is neat.
Yeah.
So I didn't mind that as much. And I remember even when, like, you know, like you said about Test Track, World of Motion, Test Track came out. Test Track was revamped. Everything else in
Because
there.
sponsors, that's the reason these rides are getting redone. Because if you can get a sponsor for something, and Test Track, because it's about cars, has always been able to have a sponsor.
Now there's rumor that the countries in Epcot are actually paid for by the countries in real life. So they said there's certain things you're like, why don't they do this? He goes, because Epcot's not maintaining them, the country is. And I'm like, I wonder how much validity there is.
I do think
to
that is true because it's kind of like
provide-
tourism, right?
yeah.
I know that Imelda Marcos had said that because what was she, Philippines? Is that what it was? Because they were talking, they approached them about wanting to sponsor something in World Showcase. And she basically said, I have people in my country that don't have shoes. I'm not going to spend money to go sponsor a theme park. And that was a story I had heard about.
Did she buy those people's shoes?
Right. I had, which is so funny because Imelda Marcos like was known for all her shoe collection, but that I had heard story. Again, is it urban legend? I don't know, but I had heard that. So I do think when Disney can get a sponsor, that's why Spaceship Earth is out there. Because when Siemens stopped being the sponsor for it, who's going to pay? Disney doesn't want to pay to facilitate these, you know, makeovers on these rides. But Test Track is on its
Well, the
fourth
parks seem
coming,
to,
because
especially
it
with
always has a
COVID,
sponsor.
especially with COVID, the theme park really floated Disney during that time too. Like all the money that came in from the theme parks and everything else,
Right.
because people, it's a big money maker for Disney is the theme parks. Why they just like, oh, let's add more money, and like over across millions of visitors, you're like, okay, you go up a few dollars, $10, $20, and you're like, it's huge. Yeah, better off dead. But that's the kind of stuff that happens. So one real quick before we wrap up this part 1 is we'll go over to Journey of Imagination because you've said it just over and over again. Yeah, it was a way better ride. The memories we had on there, like I said, but I did allude to the fact that maybe it wasn't as good as we thought it was. But you're like, I've watched POV stuff and everything else. I get it.
Because it at least was imaginative. It wasn't the science of imagination. It was the heart of imagination. So that's what made it fun. The Dreamfinder was such a unique IP. Why
But
they
wasn't
let
this the
him
third
go?
time that Journey in Imagination? Because it was like the one was like Flubber and all that kind of other stuff.
No, it was the same, almost exactly the same as it is right now. It just didn't have Figment anywhere. And people complained. They were like, well, where'd Figment go? So they shut it down after it only being open for 2 years and then kind of phoned Figment into a bunch of spots. But it really was exactly the same ride that it is right now.
Figment's cool. I like him. He's definitely the park
and that's why I
icon.
say, and I say this to Crystal all the time, If you don't like Figment, I guarantee it's because you've only experienced the current attraction. Because if that was all I knew of Figment, I'd be like, I don't get it. But when you saw the fun-hearted, light-hearted
Well, it also
Billy
came
Barty
from like the
version of
things with the
Figment,
DreamWorks, or not DreamWorks, the
Image work.
Image work. Thank you. I can't talk. I don't know what's going on with me.
Yeah.
But it came from the Image Works and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like because you go off and you got like have little things with little pins underneath the deal, and everybody would go through.
Dreamfinder was like, we watched Figment be created in that ride. It was the whole design of him and explained to you what Figment was. In the current ride, they're like, who's this annoying little weird Stitch-like character? Like, it doesn't make any sense to you. I get why people don't understand the appeal. There's nothing appealing about
Nigel
him
Channing.
in it.
Yeah.
He just feels annoying.
Yeah.
But in the old ride, he was celebrated. He was so cute. And Dreamfinder, how do we not bring him back? Like when we talk about the zaddies of Disney, like Dreamfinder definitely should be on that list.
Like the brawny guy. So I'm going to do this now because we're going to wrap up this part of part 1 and we're going to go to shout outs. We're going to shout out. Gina, do you want to do some small shop shout out?
I do. I'm actually going to small shop shout out everyone that I'm wearing right now. The t-shirt that I am wearing, this is a Ratatouille design. This is from Main Street Collective. You guys may have heard us already say, but they are producing the t-shirts for Festival of Friends.
Yep.
We are big fans of
Kyle.
Main Street Collective. We do have a discount code. We love them. Kyle is a veteran. He is a hardworking man. He is the sweetest person. We are big fans, so make sure you check out Main Street Collective. My earrings are from Magic Studio 28. They are the cutest little Spaceship Earth. Could not be lighter. Forget you're wearing them. Earrings. I went with the Spaceship Earth to match the Ratatouille vibe here because that's where that ride can be found. And then my cup is actually, if you remember and seen the giveaway that we won not that long ago, this is from Pixie Dust and Flames. This is a really cute monorail design,
I like that a lot.
Coke can style.
Notice how Gina took all those things.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I did. And then not small shop, but these ears are from Walgreens and I love them. Oh, and my watch band is from Maddie on Main Street, also a sponsor. So these are like sponsor right here, Maddie on Main Street, sponsor for our Festival of Friends. Check her stuff out. Pixie Dust and Flames, also a sponsor for Festival of Friends. So we really appreciate everybody, small shop wise, that
that's awesome.
in supporting
my shirt came from Walmart, I do believe, and it was probably $3. So shout out to
Bougie.
Small shops, no small wallet over here, and I'm gonna get every cent out of it. And if I could have got it cheaper, I would have.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's the shout out for of the week. Now, what else can we say here? Oh yeah, to our show sponsor, Theme Park Chuckle, our web store. You can get this All About Whips and Chains shirt. It's awesome. Come on, who doesn't like Haunted Mansion and Dole Whips? Everybody be whipping. Whip it good. Check out themeparkchuckle.com and you can grab yourself a really cool t-shirt. You know, it's funny because we definitely thinking about this when we started the episode, like most episodes, you're like, man, we're gonna have to do this in 2 parts. I didn't realize how many things have been taken out and we only got into a part of a second park. And I'm like, because we can talk.
I mean, Epcot,
obviously.
a lot has changed. So Epcot's going to be...
Yeah, we still got more to go on that. And we just basically know that we left
Hollywood
off
Studios has just been...
on Hollywood Studios and Animal Kingdom, same kind of way.
Yep.
There's things in there.
There's a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. So this might be a little shorter episode.
Remind everybody where to
Hold
find
on.
us.
You just shut your face. You just shut your face. You wait for people to tell you to not shut your face. All right. So Gina, tell them where they can find us.
Well, if you are watching us on YouTube, please, we would like you to like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to our channel, hit the notification bell because that's how you're going to make sure you don't miss a minute of the magic. Also, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please give us a follow. Please give us a review. We would love you to review the podcast.
Say something
5
mean.
stars,
Be
ideally.
funny. Who cares?
Yeah, but comments are always welcome, guys. Comments are always appreciated. We love hearing what you think of the episode. Also, we encourage you to follow us on our social media. You heard us talking about social media earlier in the broadcast. We are able to be found primarily on Instagram and TikTok at BBT Magic Podcast. We also do have a Facebook. That's not where I would go to find our information, but you can visit our website that Josh built for us. And the easiest way to remember that is bringbackthemagicpodcast.com.
Yeah, good job. Gina remembers all that stuff. That's why I don't say it. That's what I do.
Yeah.
I'm the sound effect and operations guy. I don't say things because I can't talk. I don't know why. I feel like I'm having some kind of moment today. I'm like, That wasn't drinking. Is this vodka or water? I don't know. Let's take another sip. See what happens. Anyway, I got to work on my addiction. And that's what I said. So
TV14.
everybody's like, yeah. So thank you all for joining us for another episode of Bring Back the Magic podcast. Please watch your head and step as you exit the podcast, and we'll see you next time.
Bring back the magic for all to see. Together we'll discover all the joy and glow. In every story, there's a little bit of gold. Join our podcast adventure, let the magic unfold.